So we are coming to you live from Duluth, Georgia, home of my parents. I'm Joel, this is Angel, we're the Baloo family, and we're missionaries in Barranquilla, Colombia. And we're here today to share a little bit about what's going on from the past, the last 8 months we've been here on home assignment. Why aren't we in Barranquilla? Why are we in Atlanta? And then we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on today and how things have changed for us. And then we're going to talk to you more about the future as well.
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spread in my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a voice.
So we've been here, and really, when we realized that we were going to be here for a good while, we had to look at where we are and what it is that we do in Colombia and how we could do that here. That involves serving people. So Joel's been able to do some yard work on the street here for some people who needed it on a consistent basis. We were able to babysit for a family that needed our help, which was a cool thing we were able to do. But as far as Colombia goes, we've been able to continue our relationships. They're in complete lockdown there. So we've been able to continue those relationships virtually. Discipleship, what does church look like? A lot of the same things that are happening here in churches, we're going through that same process with our friends and ministry in Colombia. What does the new normal look like?
Yeah, and it's been cool. We've been able to stay in contact through so many different mediums, Zoom, WhatsApp, a lot of things you guys are familiar with. But it's been cool for us to be able to still interact. And even if we were in Colombia right now, Angel and I have both realized that at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to go out there anyway, because their lockdown is much different than the pandemic lockdown here, or the virus lockdown here in the States. So really, at the end of the day, even if we were in Colombia, we would still be locked in our home. Only, I believe, probably once every, originally it was 15 days, now it's every 7 days. So it would still be an impact on our ministry there as it would be today. So really, God knew what he was doing when he put us here and had us here for 8 months, even though that was not our plan. We all know that God... But you came around and removed the thorn in my soul. You guided me out of the storm. I found home in your arms of gold, in your arms of gold. All right, we are here in Toccoa, Georgia, as we talk a little bit more about where we're at today. So obviously there's a lot going on with us. Why couldn't I simply see that I was sick at heart and I am in deep debt? Folks who support us, and Angel's going to share a little bit about what's going on in Barranquilla, where we're at today, why we're here, what's going on. So I'll let you kind of share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we know that the pandemic has affected people in different ways. In Colombia, it's been a totally different way than it has been here in the States. They've been in complete lockdown for 4 months now, and really the border has been closed since March for international flights. So what we've done is we've been waiting for the border to reopen, which will happen August 31st, but there are flights that'll be going back. There are about 10,000 people, the consulate has said, that are on a waiting list to get back to Colombia. So we're going to be joining that list, but we've also got some other things that need to happen before we can head back.
Yeah, so I think one of the bigger things that we always talk about as missionaries, it's kind of part of the course, and it's not something we enjoy talking about, but where we are financially. That's a big reason we're still here today. So that's part of the struggle that we're going to have, kind of going back. A lot of what's happened with people and their giving has really made an impact on us, not because of anything they've done, but obviously with Corona and COVID, whatever you want to call it, that's impacted our giving in a major way. Not only has it impacted our giving, you're going to hear music in the background. Taylor can scan over to the store. It's an old sports store, and it's great. You coming back, Taylor? All right, good. Just want to make sure. So what we really have to kind of focus on now is really getting it back to 100%. People ask us, what does 100% mean? Well, really right now we have to raise about $8,900 to be in Barranquilla, to be in Colombia. And with that, we have to kind of deal with a lot of the ups and downs of people not giving anymore. So getting back to 100%, and we're right now at about $2,900 short of that. Once we get those numbers back, we can go back and fly. We can't put our names in with a waiting list of the Coming Consulate, exactly, until we're there. So we're kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place. That's not a bad thing. We know that God's in control of it, but at the end of the day, we also realize that we're having to deal with the whole thing of fundraising and waiting and not signing up for things as you go and so forth. So that's where we are. So as we talk about finances, getting into the details of what that looks like for you who have questions, obviously there's a lot of detail that comes with it, right? So literally as we looked, we've gone through past, present, and current donors and where we're at today. We're lacking funds about $2,909 a month. So that means we've had several people that have dropped off. Why, we don't know. A lot of people haven't carried over, and what that means is from South America, we recently, if you haven't read or haven't looked at any of our Facebook or social media, we went from Team Evangelical Alliance Mission, it's a mouthful, to SAM, South American Mission. And with that transition, we had to carry all of our donors over, and a lot of those donors didn't come over. So as it stands today, we're taking in around $4,900, $5,100 a month in monthly giving.
Which is huge.
Which is great, yeah. And I don't say that in a light way. I don't play it as we don't care, we're not excited about that. Of course we're excited about that. And God's gotten us that far. But where we need to be is $8,900. So we know that we have about $1,000 in monthly giving that comes in once a year. So a lot of people just want to write us a one lump sum check, and we use that to carry it over for tax purposes, whatever reason, it's just easier for them. But at the end of the day, we've got to get about $2,909 extra monthly giving just to get back to where we are at 100%.
And we don't want to go back to Colombia without 100%, because that enables us to hit the ground running when we get there and continue in the process with the ministries that have already been established there and our future ministries, that we don't have to spend as much time in the fundraising piece when we're in Colombia. We can really focus in on the mission and the vision that God has given us for the city of Barranquilla.
So another big question we get is are you changing missions? Are you changing vision? Has everything you've been doing changing because you've been stuck here in the States for 8 months? No. The short answer, very blunt answer, is no. We are still doing the exact same thing we came to Colombia to do. Being stuck in the United States for 8 months was not something we envisioned, not something that God kind of gave us warning of. But at the end of the day, we are doing exactly what God has us. We're in the same place that God has us. And our plan is to go back and continue to work with the people we've worked with in a different capacity, and then start to grow the ministry that we've really been called to. What's been really cool while we're here is I've been able to start relationships and start to dig in with some folks that can help guide me to really start what we're doing on the big end, which has been that whole church planting concept, using a business like a co-working space to be able to incubate church planters, pastors that want to plant churches, create disciples. And we've been able now to kind of start to get funds for that, start to be able to really talk about the details of that and what that looks like. So it's been really cool for us, even though we didn't want to be here for this amount of time in a certain way, meaning we want to be back working in Colombia. We've been able to really kind of hone in what we want to do, what I want to do, and then how Angel's going to be a part of that, and then kind of how Angel's going to evolve as well in ministry.
So what does that look like for me? A lot of the same things that are happening in Colombia are happening here in Georgia, virtually. We still homeschool, and we're still involved with our homeschool community of Colombian families. But as far as the vision and mission that we have in Colombia, our primary vision and goal is to see as many people come to know the gospel as possible. and to see more churches planted, especially in our city of Barranquilla. That's our vision, that's our passion. So what is it that we really want to have come across to you all through this video? First of all, we just want to say thank you so much for making that crossover from team to Sam. Our vision and our mission are still the same as we face this quarantine. Thank you for following us in this journey. We didn't expect this to happen, but we're so grateful that we have people that are praying for us as we get back to Colombia, and we want to be praying for you too.
And I think secondly, but not secondly at the same time, is being a part of what we are doing financially. Being a part of what we're doing prayerfully is super important. We know that. We don't make light of that. But at the end of the day, for us to continue doing what we're doing and impact a community of 1.8 million people in Barranquilla that's 1,000 or so miles away from you, which is hard to kind of grasp, but we're there doing the Lord's work. We're there planting churches that are impacting communities, and we're going to make an impact in couples' lives, kids' lives, the community's life. And we can't do that without being financially supportive from folks like you. If you're already supporting us, we'd love to have more people like you doing that. If you know people, get them involved.
Yeah.
We've got a ton of resources. We've got a great website, 12degreesnorth.org. We've got great access to some marketing materials that we use, some prayer cards, some other things that we are ready, willing, and able to give those out at any time. But I think most importantly for us is we kind of end this video and we've spent some time sharing with you guys, and you've been awesome to stay this long in the video, is we love what we're doing in Colombia. We love the city of Barranquilla, and we love those people dearly. They're very near to our hearts. At the same time, we're always careful as family and friends are watching this to say, we love you here, and we love you just as much, and there's no, we love them more, we love you less. It doesn't matter. We love being in America, we love being American citizens, but we love where we are, and we know God's called us to that. So as I kind of sum up what we've been doing, what we've been kind of going around and doing, we thank you so much. We never get to say that enough as missionaries, but we're always very careful to say thank you, and we mean that with purpose, and we pray for you often. We care about how much you've done for us. And if you could remember to be praying for us, that'd be great. But thank you so much for caring for our family, for our 3 kids, for us. And if you haven't been around and you're just hearing this message for the first time, think about how you can get involved in Barranquilla and our ministry. It'd be awesome to have you involved. Thank you so much, as I've said about 40 times now. You are awesome. You are the best. Visit our website. Click on the links below.